You're listening to The Sports Moment,
June 5th, 2024.
part of the Sports Moments and Memories with Craig Olson podcast. Be sure to like and subscribe so you never miss a sports moment. Sponsored by Pemberton Law and Lake Area Docks and Lifts.
Lake Area Docks and Lifts, more than just docks and lifts. Lake Area Docks and Lifts.
5 Fergus Falls golfers have qualified for the state AA golf meet at Ridges at Sand Creek in Jordan. Yesterday was a good day for the Otters, although they were runners-up in the team competition to Detroit Lakes on both the girls' side and the boys' side. They've qualified multiple individuals for their respective state tournaments. And let's start on the boys' side, where the Otters qualified 3 individuals for the state tournament, and it was Ryan Nelson shooting a 76 and finishing in a tie for 4th over the 2 days of the tournament. Riley McGovern birdied his last hole to fire a 76 also, and Quentin Keel, a sophomore, had an 83 to grab the last individual spot for the state meet. And for Riley McGovern, this is his 3rd time qualifying for the state meet. For Ryan Nelson, it is his 2nd appearance, and it is the 1st time qualifying for Quentin Keel. So congratulations to each of those Otter golfers on getting to the state meet. And also on the girls' side, Annika Jerkis and Annie Mayer are heading back to the state AA girls golf tournament. Jerkis shot scores of 78 and 81 over the 2 days of the Section 8-2A competition. With a 2-day total of 159, Mayer wound up with a 171 2-day total, as both of them will qualify to compete at Ridges at Sand Creek. So just a great couple of days for the Otters individually, with 5 girls headed to the state meet. Well, lots of state competition coming up for area athletes. We've been highlighting a lot of the track and field athletes over the last week since their section meets were held and qualifying has been done for the state meet. And one of the teams locally that has multiple individuals heading to the state meet at St. Michael Albertville this week is Otter Tail Central. And I caught up with Brady Speicher, the head coach of the Bulldogs, and he talked about how excited he and his coaching staff is to get 3 athletes to the state track meet.
Yeah, beginning of the year, our goal is always let's get as many kids as we can to sections. We got the most this year in the last 5 years, and that correlated to getting 3 really good athletes down to state this week. And Maisha, Mason, and Kinley, they all have a really good opportunity in front of them to come home with a medal.
Well, let's talk about your jump events here, because Mason and Kinley are both competing in the long jump and the triple jump, and then Maisha in the high jump. So why has the jumping become so prominent for Otter Tail Central? What's made the difference in those events?
That's a great question. I joke that next year our shirts should just say Otter Tail Central Field instead of track and field, but we'll take success where we can get it. Jumping is one of those things that a lot of people can relate to, and it's one of those fun things to do at a meet. I mean, it's not fun to go and run a 2-mile. So I think kids are going to see this, the Masons, the Kinleys, and the Maishas have success and join track and want to do those events. And then it's up to us coaches to challenge them and get them to do other events. But the key to jumping is to be fast. So our goal as coaches is to get our athletes as fast as possible and keep them healthy, and good things will happen.
And Mason DeLugie and Kinley Borman will both compete in the triple jump and the long jump at state. And then Maisha Antoni will be in the high jump. And I talked with Brady about Mason and how driven he has been his senior year to get back to state.
Yeah, he's had a different mentality. And last year, as a junior, it was his first year out for track. And that's awesome. He made the commitment later on. And I think he's wishing he would have joined a little sooner. but he now knows how everything works, and he knows he's getting 3 jumps at the meets. He knows at the big meets there's finals, and that goes to your strategy as a jumper. You want to get one in right away, and if it's a good one, then you can cheat up on the board and try to get a big one like he got at sections. I mean, he broke the school record. When a record at OTC has Van Erp in it, it means if you beat it, you're doing something really, really well. He's coming into the state meet ranked second in the long jump. And he's just on a mission. And I think if he can stay focused and if we can get him on the board, which is going to be key, he has a chance to win this thing.
Kinley Borman was at state last year, and that experience as an 8th grader should help this year as she returns to state.
Yeah, for sure. And that goes with Mason too. Last year is you get down there, and I mean, we run meets, we're in small towns, and there's one official at the meet, and you check in and kind of go around as you please. You get down to the state meet, and there's 4 or 5 officials per event, and it's a lot to take in, and that just gets your nerves going when you see a bunch of people standing around with clipboards. So they're going to be in a much more comfortable place. Granted, we don't want them to be relaxed. We want them to have, the nerves, because if you're nervous, it means you're excited to be there and you want to be there. So they're definitely going to have the jitters, but they're going to be so ready to roll and jump far, and it's just going to be fun to watch as a coach.
Where do Kinley's jumps place her right now with the field that she's going to compete against?
Yeah, so Thursday is our first day of competition. Kinley will do long jump first. So in long jump, she's going to be ranked. She's going to be in the last flight. She's ranked 5th, 17.6. That's right off of our school record. That's been held since I think it's like 2000. But there is kind of a runaway. There's this girl from the Math and Science Academy that's jumped 19 feet. So she has a foot better mark than anyone else in the field. But I kind of told the athletes this yesterday, and I'll remind them again on our way down to the state meet, is rankings are just rankings. You still have to go down there and put, your right foot on the board and leap into the sand. And I've been on both sides of the coin of being ranked high and not placing high, and not being ranked and walking away with the state championship. So having that experience and just staying kind of level throughout the whole thing, girls are going to have a big jump before you. It's how you react, and it's going to be fun.
As for Maisha Antoni in the high jump, one of the things that she has done is be really consistent and at the top of her game consistently this year. But heading into the state tournament, I asked Coach Speicher how important being confident in your ability in your event is and where she is at confidence-wise right now.
Yeah, high jump, you got to have confidence if you're going to have success down here at the state meet. The last 2 years, we've brought Allie Hart, who graduated, and once again, different ball game. They set the bleachers right behind the mat, so you got all the fans from moms, aunts, and uncles staring right at you as you run up. That's the only meet. The stands are right behind the mat. And she's coming in a situation where there are 12 other girls who jump the exact same height as her at the section meet. This last year, the high school league lowered from the state qualifying. People have probably seen there's more people going than ever. They took it from the 5th place finish the last couple of years to the 9th place finish, with the reasoning being they medal 9 at state. So if you can hit that average 9th place, you have every right to go. So Maisha was one of the 5 from our section to make it in the high jump. And yeah, there's 12 at 5.1, and then there's about 7 at 5.3. So we got to work on being clean at that 5.1 height to own any tiebreaker of the competition. And we'll work a little bit on her J, which is the last couple of steps of her curve, and we'll probably cheat in. Her hips have been coming down a little bit on the bar, but a little bit of speed and that adrenaline you get at state, I think will solve it.
So, Brady, what excites you when you think about the future of Otter Tail Central track and field?
Yeah, this year was awesome. We have great coaches all around in our event groups. We started the season with right around 90 kids, which is amazing, and less than 10 seniors. We're going to miss those seniors tremendously. They were great leaders for us, but we have so much to build on, and we are such a young team that I can only imagine that next year we're sending 20, 25 to sections instead of, 18. And we're going to send 6, 7 to state instead of 3. And, success builds success. And that's what we're seeing here at OTC. And I hope it continues. And I know our athletes are going to put, their best effort forward. And it's up to us as coaches to kind of make sure we get the best out of them at the biggest meets of the year.
Head coach Brady Speicher of the Otter Tail Central Bulldogs. Again, Mason DeLugie and Kinley Borman competing in the triple jump and the long jump, and Maisha Antoni in the high jump at St. Michael Albertville, the state track meet Thursday through Saturday. Well, one of our sponsors on our podcast, of course, is the folks at Pemberton Law, and they do have 4 locations where they serve you from around the Lakes area: Fergus Falls, Wadena, Detroit Lakes, and Alexandria. And you can always visit them online at pemlaw.com. Pemberton Law carries a legacy of trustworthy and reputable legal representation dating all the way back to 1883. Lake Area Docks and Lifts offers premium waterfront equipment sales, service, and installation. Best quality and service at the best prices. Just ask your neighbor at the lake about Lake Area Docks and Lifts.
Lake Area Docks and Lifts, more than just docks and lifts. Lake Area Docks and Lifts.
Welcome back, Royce Lewis. Lewis returned to the Twins lineup last night, provided their only offense, hit a home run, walked twice. He hasn't been retired in 5 plate appearances this year. Yesterday, those were his first 3 plate appearances since opening day when he was put on the injured list. Great to have him back in the lineup and adding a spark right away, but the Twins didn't have much going against Luis Gil, as they got beat by a score of 5-1 in the opener of their 3-game series against the Yankees. So the Yankees have now won 6 in a row. They have the best record in baseball, 43-19, and lead their division by 2.5 games over the Baltimore Orioles. And tonight they'll be sending left-hander Carlos Rodon, who is 7-2, to the mound. He beat the Twins 5-1 back in the middle of May at Target Field. Chris Paddock will start the middle game of the series for the Twins. He is 4-2 with a .457 earned run average. Tonight's game is a 6:05 start in New York. And running back Christian McCaffrey, the NFL's reigning Offensive Player of the Year, has signed a 2-year contract extension that averages $19 million over the 2 added years. And in addition to the 2 extra years, the Niners added $8 million over what McCaffrey was scheduled to make in the 2 years remaining on his deal, and added $24 million in guaranteed money as well. So big contracts being handed out, with McCaffrey getting that contract extension on the heels of the big deal that Justin Jefferson signed 2 days ago. Speaking of contracts, Gino Auriemma has signed a 5-year deal to remain as coach of the 11-time champion UConn Huskies women's basketball team. The 2024-25 campaign will be the 40th season at the helm for Auriemma, who turned 70 in March. The contract extension runs through April 2029 and is valued at $18.7 million. And we thank you for joining us for the podcast. Be sure to check out part 2 of our Otter Hockey History podcast by going to YouTube and putting in Craig Olson Sports Moments and Memories, Otter Hockey History podcast, part 2, and take a listen to a little bit of Otter hockey history. Had a lot of fun putting that together, connecting with all the former coaches and a lot of former players as well. I think you'll enjoy it. And that'll do it for our podcast today. Thanks for stopping by.
You've been listening to The Sports Moment with Craig Olson, sponsored by Pemberton Law and Lake Area Docks and Lifts. Produced by Sunroom Lab. Music by Blue Red Roses. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and thanks for listening.